Good morning to all of you. My name is Divesh Barsheria. I am a PhD student under Professor Goen Cheng. So today I got an opportunity to discuss some of my results based on the real-time refractive index sensing of localized surface plasmon resonance based optophotic waveguide sensors. So basically in this work we have used the Goel nanoparticles to improve the sensitivity as well as the resolution of our WGPPR sensor, which is a waveguide based particle plasmon resonance sensor. So this is our group in the National Chungcheong University. So currently in our group there are two activities going on. Basically one is the silicon photonics and another one is the optical biosensor. In optical biosensor we have two parts. One is the GMR biosensor, another one is the waveguide biosensor, for which the result I will present in these slides. So these are the outline of my presentations. First of all, what are biosensors? Why do we need a biosensor? What are the applications of the biosensors? What are the motivation? How I got motivated to start this work? What is the overview of the waveguide WG-PPR sensor? What is the proposed design and parameters? Fabrication flow, how we fabricated our device, and how we measure the real-time data and experimental result, and finally we will discuss some of the conclusion and the future works. So what are biosensors? As you can see, there are biosensors are divided into different parts. First one is the targets, which can be POPs, heavy metals, EDCs, viruses, and the biorecognition molecules can be the antibody, enzyme, DNA enzyme, aptamer, cell, etc. And in the optical transducer section, you can see there are different physics. So for our case, we are using the planar guide waves, and we are doing the refractive index sensing for this. And finally, for the signal processing part, we have a signal conversion and the amplification part, as well as the signal analytical system, so that we can convert the analog signal into the digital signal. And when we tell what is the biosensor is an analytical device which is used for the detection of an analyte, which combine the biological component with the psychochemical detectors. So basically the principle of detection for our type of biosensor is optical, which measure the change in the light intensity. So there are some of the applications of the biosensors. Biosensors can be used for the drug discovery. They can be used for the water quality management, food quality. So in many ways biosensors can be used. So how I got motivated to do this work? Basically, people have already done work on the waveguide-based biosensor, but some have disadvantage, like for the resolution, for the cost, some of the disadvantage in the terms of the sensitivity also. Here I have compared some of the parameters like cost as well as the resolution. As you can see, it's like some waveguide sensor has a good resolution, but their cost is high. But when we compare our proposed sensor, you can see the resolution is also low as well as the cost is also low. And where there are some of the challenges obtained with the optical RA sensors. First one is as I already mentioned, costly. Some of the sensors are very costly, and for any researcher, their goal is to make a chip which is very low cost. Then some of the chips are very bulky, complex and time consuming fabrication processes, like some of them they use the lithography processes, vacuum processes. So and the detection system is also compact. So when we compare our advantages, like the cost of our chip is very low, which is less than 10 NTD per chip, and it can provide a high throughput. The fabrication is very simple, it does not include any lithography processes. The structure is very compact, and it can also provide the real-time detection system. So this is the overview of the WG-PPR sensor. This is the optical image of our WG-PPR sensor, and the working principle is based on the localized surface plasmon effect. And these are some of the dimension of our chip. For the substrate we use 25.4 into 52 into 1 mm, and for the waveguide, which is 22 into 50 into 0.2 mm. And the estimate cost I already mentioned is less than 10 NTD, and the approximate lifetime of our sensor is minimum is 1 year. And the type of we have a suspended structure, and we have now, like I told, we have Goel nanoparticles, and we measure the Goel nanoparticle using the SEM image, and the estimated size obtained is around 30 nanometer, and the total fabrication of our WG-PPR sensor takes around 8 hours, and it can also detect the biomarkers such as PCT and as well as the IgG. Already we have done some preliminary study on the PCT as well as the IgG, and the results are very good, and it can also fulfill the point of care treatment also. So this is the proposed design and the parameter. You can see we have a glass substrate, and why I am saying this is a suspended structure. You can see between the glass waveguide and the glass substrate there is a air gap. So the waveguide is suspended on a air. That is why we are telling it is a suspended structure. And you can see at the surface of the waveguide we have a nanoparticles, and the size of the nanoparticle has been calculated using the SEM, and the size was nearly around 30 nanometer. And these are some of the parameters and the refractive index of our proposed design. So this is the fabrication flow of our fabrication chip. So we started with the substrate, and the substrate we used here is a glass slide. So first of all we clean the glass slide so that there should be no impurity present in the substrate. After that, as you can see, we have put the UV glue at the two edges of the glass slide, and after that we put the waveguide, and we keep it for 15 minutes so that the UV glue can be hardened. And one more thing before doing these steps, so we already mobilized the nanoparticles on the waveguide surface. So you can see like this, the nanoparticles are placed, and after keeping it for 15 minutes, then we paste our microfluidic channel, which is having the length of 32 millimeter, and finally we put the inlet and outlet port so that we can insert the solution and we can take out the solution. So this is the very simple fabrication flow of our structure, and the total fabrication steps take around 8 hours. So this is the measurement system. How do we measure our real-time system? And this is the actual image of the measurement system. Like you can see now here we are using the green LED, and the wavelength of the green LED we use here is 532 nanometer. Why we are using the green LED? The purpose of using green LED is because the power stability as compared to other laser sources, our LED has a better power stability. And the another factor which we keep in our mind is the cost. The cost of the LED is very cheap. So now you can see the light emitted from here will colluminate using the lens, and will pass using here we are using a 20th objective, and which will directly reach to the facet of the waveguide. Now this is, you can see here we are using the 3-axis translation stage. Why we are using 3-axis translation stage? Because we can move the direction of the chip in any way so that we can have a minimum coupling losses, and the transmitted light is then filtered using the iris, and which is focused using a lens, and which is directly given to a PD, which is a silicon based photodetector, which will convert the light intensity into the current. And here you can see we have a amplifier and the ADC part, so which will convert the analog signal into the digital signal, and finally we can get a signal here. So these are some of the experimental results we obtained with the RA sensing. So we use the sucrose solution as our analyte. So we started with the concentration of 1.33, which is our DI water concentration, and we increased the sucrose solution concentration to 1.33 to 1.373. You can see as the refractive index is increasing, the intensity is also increasing. The reason behind is like there is a power absorption as well as the scattering of light, and also there is an existence of the LSPR effect, and this is the normalized average intensity as a function of the RA of the solution. After analyzing these results, we found that the normalized sensitivity was around 0.5841, and the resolution was around 9.10 into 10⁻⁵, and the RSD is around 5.26 into 10⁻⁵. So we have compared these results with our sensor, with our RA sensor without nanoparticles. So you will see this is the results obtained with the RA sensor without nanoparticle and with the nanoparticle. When we compare the normalized sensitivity, you can see the sensitivity has been enhanced when we use the nanoparticle, as well as the resolution has also been improved, and also the RSD. So we can see the effect of nanoparticle has played a very important role in our WGPPR sensor in terms of sensitivity, in terms of resolution, in terms of RSD. So these are the conclusions we obtained from our slides. So we have our sensor can provide the real-time detection. It can also yield a high throughput enabling the mass production. and having the normalized sensitivity as well as the resolution in the range of 0.5841 and the resolution of 9.10 into 10 to the minus 5 RAU, and the cost is less than 10 NTD. So we have also compared our experimental result with the simulation results, and the results are almost matching. So these are our future works. So we have to optimize our biosensing chip with the different channel length. Like for now, we are using only channel length of 32 millimeter. Our plan is to reduce the channel length in order to see which channel length has the better sensitivity. So we have to test the different biomarkers such as the IgG as well as the PCT. Already we have done some preliminary testing for the IgG as in the PCT, and the LOD obtained with these are very promising. And finally, we have to use the different weight materials to compare our results. And finally, we have to compare our experimental result with the simulation results. So finally, for the acknowledgement part, so this work was supported by the Ministry of Science and Technology under this project number, and I'm very thankful to my professor who gave me opportunity to work in this project. Last but not the least, I also thank all my lab mates who always supported me during this research. Thank you.